Hey guys, it's Kaz here, and today I'm going to be doing a flip through of my Inktober 2019. So if you don't know what Inktober is, it is an art challenge that takes place every October. There's a different prompt word for every day and you just basically draw. And this is the first time that I've ever done Inktober, so I enjoy some of these. Some of them I'm not a fan of because I didn't take much time on them, but I have 31 pictures to go through, so let's get on with it. So day one was ring, so I did a planet. I used this old school Beryl pen that I've literally had since I was a kid to do the background. A Derwent Chinese white coloured pencil to do most of this. And then I did use a few other greys and stuff from the Arteza. But I like this, I feel like this is a good start. I like how it does all these weird wobbly things in the background because of the way I've coloured it in. So day two's prompt was mindless, and for this one I mindlessly dropped ink on the page, and then after that I dried, I looked at it and decided it looked like jellyfish. For the inks, I actually used these purple and blue inks that I've literally had since about year 8 from school. I used to use a fountain pen at school and I would write in purple and blue because that's the kind of person I am. So, chuck them on. And because it's Inktober and I wanted to challenge myself, I actually did buy a dip pen and some calligraphy ink, so that is what I did the jellyfish with. Day 3 was bait, so I decided to draw bait from the Dragon Prince. If you haven't watched it, check it out, it's on Netflix. And for this, I used these Touch Raven alcohol markers. They're literally like 20 quid for a pack of 80, so they're not the best, but they do the job. Day 4 was freeze, and honestly, I should have just quit there because this is my favourite one that I did out of all the days. Freeze. I had about 5 different references and I just really like this one. When I first decided to do Inktober, I thought I was going to do all of it in some sort of ink, but as you can tell this is all in pencil because I didn't want to ruin it with ink. And just for a little bit of colour so it didn't all get mixed up, I again used some of the Arteza coloured pencils, and I also have the Tombow Mono eraser, so basically this is an eraser that is this thin, and I did that to get a bit more depth in the hood and also for the eye. Day 5 was build, so I was kind of inspired by the buildings in Amsterdam because I went there a few months ago. Again, I used the calligraphy ink, I used the dip pen, and I just diluted it. For the buildings I did different washes. For these sort of textured ones I used the cotton bud, took off the excess colour, and then I got this cool texture. Day 5 was husky. I really don't like this, it's pretty terrible. But for this one, you can't really tell because I just coloured over all of it. But I did use loads of different biros, different colour pink biros. I don't know why I have so many. But then in the end I just kind of coloured over it in a Crayola pink because I just did not like it. And then I also used the grey one for the background. Day 7 was enchanted, so I thought I'd do a little enchanted spider with a water droplet on his head. Is it a water droplet or is it a Mystic Meg crystal ball? You'll never know. He's enchanted. And again, I used the Arteza coloured pencils. This is a theme. I use quite a lot of the same things, but also a lot of different things. I wanted to mix it up. I didn't want to do everything just in ink, everything just in a dip pen, because I haven't really done art for a long time, so I wanted to try out loads of different medias and stuff. Day 8 was frail, and for this one, instead of drawing something that was frail, I decided to use the pens that were frail. So for all of my outlining and fine lining stuff, I use the Uni Pin fine liners. I usually use the 0.5 or 0.3, 0.8, but for this one, for the word frail, I decided to use the smallest ones I had. So the different tones, I have a couple of grey ones and a sepia ones, and I also used the 0.03 in the black, I think, so very frail tips indeed. And then the background is just calligraphy ink. So day 9 was swing, another one I don't like. It's ugly, it's muddy, it's crappy. I used ink and I had about half a cartridge of the blue left from the mindless one, so I just diluted it and yeah, it looks muddy, it's terrible, let's move on. Day 10 was pattern and I attempted to do tartan. It turned out alright, I don't think it's that bad. It took bloody ages. Arteza coloured pencils, of course. I also used acrylic white to get the lines, which look a bit dodgy because they're not very straight, but that one's alright. And to get the nice fine edges, I just used some washi tape. Day 11 was snow. Again, I did the background with the Beryl thick broad liner type thing, and then did a bit of a scene with some coloured pencils and a bit of acrylic white. Day 12 was dragon. I really like this one, to be fair. And this one I used those alcohol markers again. They're not the best at blending. It's better to just blend them with themselves, like put the same colour over the top to get a different colour. But I mean, for £20 for like 80 markers, you can't go wrong. And then I used the Uniball Signo White to do the shiny bit in the eye. Day 13 was ash, and for that one I did an ash tree. Not a massive fan of this one again. Pretty much when I didn't put much time and effort into it, don't like them. Funny that. But coloured pencils, a couple of the different fine liners. Let's move on. Another one, not a massive fan of, 14, Overgrown. This is very scribbly because it's overgrown. I used the Arteza coloured pencils. I tried to get some perspective, but I don't think it worked very well. Day 15 was Legend, so I decided to do Bianca Del Rio. For this one, I used these brush pens that I have. So basically they've got like a proper brush end, so you can just use this, or you can put water on the top of it to get a more watercolory effect. And then I just used the coloured pencils to do a bit of the face. Day 16 is Wild, another one just in pencil. I feel like the just pencil ones are quite nice, to be fair. So I used a pretty thick pencil, a 5B, and then I used 3 different types of rubbers. So just a normal one that I got from Morrison's, I think. And then I have one of the putty ones. This was from the Works, it was like £1 for 2. And then the Tombow Mono Zero for some of the smaller details. 17 was Ornament. Of this one I did a little snow globe. I used the coloured pencils. Instead of using a white gel pen for this, I actually used correction fluid. So it's quite thick, it's a little bit crunchy, but it's fine. This is where I started having not much time because I was doing quite a lot in October. So next up we have Misfit for day 18, and if you know, you know. I did the Misfits. I used the Touch No Alcohol markers for the background, and then the soft brush pens for them themselves. So day 19 was Sling, so I decided to just sling a load of watercolour on the page. I used these ones from the Works. They're a couple of £1, they're not expensive, they're just whatevs, you know. And then I decided to make it autumny and then draw some leaves in there. I don't even know if you can tell, to be fair. Did a few autumn leaves type things. Popped a little bit of the coloured pencil here and there just to give it a little bit of depth. Day 20 is Tread, so like the obvious person I am, I just drew a shoe. The shoe is done with the alcohol markers. The background yellow is one of the Arteza coloured pencils. And then the Signo Uniboard gel pen for all of the seams and stuff. Day 21 was Treasure, so I did a treasure map. I used the soft brush pens for this. I did the outside and then dragged the colour inside with the water to give it that treasure map type of look and feel. And then used a couple of the fine liners in the different colours to do the map type thing. Day 22 was Ghost, and this is like the most easiest, obvious, non-effort thing ever. I got these random double-sided pens. I got a normal side and a brush side from the Works again, so I just used them. Day 23 was Ancient. I was trying to think for a while what I should do for this, and in the end I decided on Death. So I used one of those brush pens for Death, and then the Arteza coloured pencils, a bunch of different colours in the background. Day 24 was Dizzy. This, I mean, it looks like a wasp, but he's a bee, but you can call him a wasp if you want. He looks quite waspy. But I wasn't sure what to do for that, so I decided to do a Dizzy bee / wasp. And again, coloured pencils and then the black fine liner. Next up we had Tasty, and this one I just did some fruit with, you guessed it, the Arteza coloured pencils. I get a lot of use out of these, I'm not gonna lie. Day 26 was Dark, so I decided to do a Donnie Darko page, and I used my calligraphy pen to do all the outlines and stuff and the writing, and I shaded in with a dark pencil, but then I felt like the background was just boring. It was all white, so I did whatever the crap this is at the background. I kind of hated it when I first did it, but now I'm not too mad at it. It's weird, but it'll do. Day 27, I mean, this was less effort than the flipping Ghost one, wasn't it? It's terrible. But basically, when I did this bit here, it leaked through because this is perforated. So there was a big blotch here, so I just had to do the background in black. You can see the blotch through there. And then this 27 is Coat. I was going to do a coat of arms, I was going to put loads of effort in, but then I couldn't be bothered. So I just did all the symbols from Avatar: The Last Airbender with these metallic pens, and then coloured the background in with pencil crayons. There you go, done. Day 28 was Ride, and this is one of my favourites. I honestly thought I peaked at Freeze with the woman in the face, but I really like this one as well. And again, I used the Touch Raven alcohol markers, super cheap. I had a few different references. I had a reference for the snail, and then I looked at a few different references of a frog, so I knew how to draw one. And then, you know, made up the colours. I like it, it's cute. And you'll see that this was a theme from then on, not the frog, but the using the Touch Raven alcohol markers, because the next few I did. So number 29 was Injured, and I didn't want to be too obvious with this, so I did an injured tree rather than like an injured person. It's like a blossoms throwing everywhere. 30, this is terrible because I literally just drew it straight on with a fine liner instead of penciling it out first. Side note, the pencil I've been using this whole time is actually a promotional pencil for Monsterland by Michael Ocon. I've not actually read it yet. I do have it on my Kindle. I should probably read it because this pencil is great. But I didn't use it for this one, which is why all the fish look janky and terrible. But again, alcohol markers for this. And last but not least, day 31 was Ripe. As you can tell, I wanted it to be a little bit Halloweeny, but I also couldn't be asked to put any effort in. So you got this. We got a ripe pumpkin, we got a little bit of a not so ripe pumpkin, and again, alcohol markers. So hopefully for some reason you enjoyed this. I'm gonna put it back to this guy because I like this guy. Let me know down below if you participated in Inktober, or let me know which day the ones that I did is your favourite. I mean, let's be real, it's between this guy and this guy in it. The rest of them were a bit terrible, but I had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing it, to be fair, and I'm definitely going to be drawing and arting a lot more now than I did for a long time. So it has got me into that mood. I have been doing this whole thing in an Arteza mixed media pad, so there you go. So yeah, let me know down below if you participated in Inktober, or if it sounds like something you'd be interested in. I don't know. I don't really talk a lot about art, but I do enjoy it, so hopefully you enjoyed this video. If this is your first video by me and you enjoy it, then please check out some of my others. And if you continue to enjoy, then please subscribe. That would be awesome. Anyway guys, I'll see you in a few days with another video. Bye.